यूट्यूब पे कौन देखेगा? एवरेज व्यूअर्स कितना होता है? 200 एवो। हाँ 200 एवो 200 एवो। বছর লাগবে। হ্যাঁ সুবিধা সুবিধা পেয়েছে। মনে হচ্ছে আজকে তোমার আজকে 2 তারিখ তো আজকেই তো ডেট বলছে 2 তারিখ ডেট আজকে জানতে পারিনি তো 20 না 22 করছে না ওদের কারণ সেই মতো পয়েন্ট অ্যাড করতে না করেছে তারপর another 2 minutes we are all here
ওটা কি হবে আমার
রেজিস্টার ডক্টর আড়াই
अरे मेरा रूम तो खुलवा दिया था यार ऐसा नहीं है पीछे
हमारे इनका प्रॉब्लम हमारे इनका प्रॉब्लम
Sir, this is your piece. Okay, sir, धन्यवाद.
अभी finish है.
Okay. 2014, 2005 I had joined. 2005 I joined ICFAI Business School. And then 2014.
14, oh,
9 years.
Supreme Knowledge Foundation.
This is the name of the foundation.
This is where?
In, do you know the place? It's slightly outside the city, Chandanagar. If you remember.
Let him
I can see that.
Okay. Okay.
I will be here. No. ठीक है सर. हम यहाँ आ जाएं. लक्ष्मण से रिजल्ट. हाँ.
Just advance just just looking forward to some valuable inputs from you. If any there are some valuable inputs from your side, so that can be.
I will tell
And
him.
already he has already published 3 research papers from and the 4th one is coming out in December this year.
In one
Because the efficient market hypothesis that itself is a thesis.
No. इसके तो तीन
आ जाएगा, strong, semi-strong and weak. एक फॉर्म को लेके एक चीज निकल जाएगा.
उसको किया मैंने किया था. Our first person to test the window
that computers were available then. कैसे किए?
वही तो बता रहा था आपको.
कैसे किए थे फिर?
अरे कंप्यूटर तो अवेलेबल था. आ गए. आइए
आइए सर.
Sir, 1 minute.
Wait. Anybody else joining? Yes, Sudipta, anybody else coming? So, a very good afternoon to all of you and a hearty welcome to today's Open Viva overseer of Sourav Mazumder. Here we have 2 external examiners, Dr. O.P. Gupta, former director of IBS Gurgaon and also former, the head of department of Delhi University. It is long back, Those days maybe some of us were not even born. Those days to do that. And he's a pioneer as far as the capital markets are concerned. A lot of things what we are talking of, he did research 40 years back. Then we have got Dr. Rajkumar, Director of Institute of Animal Studies from BHU Varanasi. Dr. Rajkumar has done pioneering work in the area. So we are very fortunate to have the doyen of the experts coming from the finance field, and we should be lucky to have this kind of a profile of the experts evaluating your thesis and also the Viva. So what we thought is, as has been the custom, you can take about half an hour to maximum 45 minutes for the presentation, and focus the presentation primarily with regard to what you have done, rather than the introductions and so many other things into that. Or what is the work that you have done, starting with the objectives and hypothesis. What is the data collected, analysis, conclusions, and give adequate time to the external examiners, to ask you questions. And when once the evaluation is over by the external examiners, that's when it is open to the rest of us to ask any questions. So now over to you. Now the time starts with you, and tries are finish up by 3:30 to 3:45. In fact, Dr. Gupta ji was saying that not more than half an hour.
Mr. Mazumder, we have read the thesis,
Yes.
we have gone through everything.
Yeah.
My first comment is 5 theses in 1. And that is a question I'm going to ask you. So, therefore, you need not go. This is a nice presentation, no issue. Just tell us what you have done.
That's more important than.
Because in my opinion, you have only tested one model.
So I think let him come to that, sir. I think
Basic issue is
जल्दी इतने घबरा रहे हैं उसको तो समय दीजिए, थोड़ा उसको समय दीजिए. After that,
he is from mathematics and economics. के जो फाउंडर है ना, सारे फादर वो इकोनॉमिस्ट मैथमेटिशियन हैं. मार्शल was a mathematician. I'm just adding to your knowledge.
Chalo, I think sir, we'll leave it to him at least. Sir, at least.
So mathematics is the basic discipline.
That's why I was interested in any research.
Yeah, take care. I think sir, now stay focused and focus primarily on what you have done. That is a lot more important. Otherwise, assume that they have gone through this entire thesis, and that's what. Yeah.
A study of efficient market hypothesis and its impact on the valuation models in Indian stock market with specific reference to post-liberalization era.
Louder, because in fact I should also mention to you, because it's an open Viva overseas.
Yeah.
Now open doesn't mean open only for this room. It is open to the world.
No, you
so please
can
give
it something,
Yeah.
Mic, color mic.
Color mic है तो दे दीजिए.
Color mic लगाइए.
दे दीजिए, लेके आइए. लेके आइए, because that's important, because he needs it, huh? No, but after lunch, sir, in fact, today, sir, what we are doing is, like whatever sort of deliberation that are there, these are all being webcast using the live YouTube, and across the country, lot more other research scholars are viewing this and listening to this. It's not just limited to those that are sitting here. So to that extent, it is a truly open. Yeah. And this, what we are doing is, this entire thing is being recorded, not only for today, any time in the kind of, all the time to come. This entire recording is available for anybody to see. So that's what. Yeah. Please.
I'm graduated in mathematics from Jharkhand University.
No, लेके आइए उसको तो चाहिए.
Joined HSBC Bank and spent 28 years in the bank. Primarily, my responsibility was in the investment management. That's why I was interested in this field. And I pursued my study along with my job. I did my CRB and CS and then and certification. Motivation, it's definitely I was interested, as per my job responsibility, I was interested in the stock market area, and because of my mathematics background, I just wanted to find the intricacies of the market, of the mathematics, what about the role of the mathematics, and the importance of capital market in the Indian economy. And as far the investment is concerned, and I have reviewed few literatures, and I'm going to straight to the valuation. There are several methods of valuing of stock. We are concerned about the relative valuation method because it is very easy to less time consuming. It is widely used, and it represents the mood of the market. I've decided to test the Wittbeck-Kaiser model because this model has been tested in the US market successfully, and it took considered the variables, independent variables as a projected growth rate, dividend payout, and the standard deviation of earnings to the P/E ratio of a particular stock. The variable considered in this model, I have chosen this Wittbeck-Kaiser model. It is successfully tested in the market and in the developed market in USA, and the variables used is quite the basic variables considered in the stock valuation model. Going to the literature review, the test of Wittbeck-Kaiser model, I got one. This Baldwin, Rao and Kanari, we not tested, but they have used this model to find out what are the undervalued and overvalued stock. But they found that the undervalued stock has given negative return and overvalued stock has given positive returns. Going to the valuation of stock, there are several articles, research papers. They have come up with different variables related to the P ratio of this particular stock. Capital asset pricing model tested in the Indian context several times, and their outcomes are quite dichotomous. Efficiency of stock market. These many articles have been reviewed. Some of them are found that the market is not showing the efficiency at all. Now the research gap. Going to the research gap, we have identified some gaps, that is testing of a Wittbeck-Kaiser model in the post-liberalization era. Several tests have been made, have been conducted, CSM test, but the results are quite dichotomous. But despite failure of the earlier studies, was not causal effect has the introspection has not been made about the causal effect of such inconclusive results. So research objective are to test the price earning model with the Kaiser model, to test the capital asset pricing model, and then to attempt to develop a customized model in the Indian context. To test the model should develop and to test the efficiency, all three forms of the efficiency test, and to find out if any relationship exists between efficiency and valuation. Research design, first I have to go into the Wittbeck-Kaiser model. We have to collect data, and then by regression analysis, we have to come up with the dependent variables. There's a capital asset pricing model. By rank correlation coefficient, we will find the capital asset pricing model. Is there a positive relationship exists between the systematic risk and the return? Customized valuation model. We have asked for some feedback about to the mutual fund companies and framed valuation model as per their feedback. Then all three forms of efficiency tests have been conducted. The first one is a weak form test. Weak form test is time pattern test and the regression test, and then semi-strong and strong form, event studies and insider trading test. Based on null hypothesis testing of Wittbeck-Kaiser model, the null hypothesis there is no relationship between the price earning ratio and the three variables. Testing customized valuation model, there is no correlation between the P ratio and the other independent variables. And weak form of test of efficiency, that is no significant relationship exists between the this year's stock market return to the previous 3 years stock market return. Going to the methodology, part testing the Wittbeck-Kaiser model, we have selected PSE 100 index, and 70 stocks were consistent during this period. So if I want to just The list of the 70 stocks that I have selected. And the period selected in 96 to 2015, and data collected from the Traverse data system. The data falling outside the range of standard mean plus minus 3 standard deviation are removed as an outlier, and every distribution have been considered. CAPIM test, the daily return of stock and the beta based on daily return has been calculated. And all the stocks are divided into 10 deciles, and the average return of each decile and beta has been calculated, and ranks are assigned. Then they are arranged in according to their ranks, and the correlation coefficient of Spearman rank order correlation coefficient has been formed. Customized valuation model feedback sent to mutual fund companies and their feedback received. And as per their feedback, I have using SPSS, I have tried to develop this model. The variable feedback on variables I have received is these all 12 are there quantitative. The 3 consistency of earning, dividend payout and growth of profit after tax have been excluded because they have already considered in the earlier Wilbeck-Kaiser model. Some qualitative factors are also there, like corporate governance, composition of board of directors, brand value, etc. But because of we have considered the quantitative factors only. Methodology part, the customized valuation model, the equation was formed, taking all these 9 independent variables, and they have been, the data were cleaned, and then with the SPSS tool, I have regressed the data. Efficiency stock market, there are 3 forms of stock market efficiency. First one is a weak form, the second is semi-strong, and then strong. In the weak form, it is the past, whether the past data reflect the information contained in the historical price can predict the future price. The available information in the second one, the publicly available data can influence the price. And finally, the strong form, it says that all information, public and private, can fully reflected in the stock price. Now, what are the taste of weak form of efficiency? I have taken 2 forms. That is, one is return predictability, what Pharma has described as. First one is the time pattern. Time pattern is whether the time series data analysis can help us to gain extra return. And the correlation test is the today's return can be related to the previous year's return, this year's return. So these 2 tests I have conducted, and the strong form, semi-strong form of the efficiency is that a particular event has been selected, that is like a bonus declaration or split of share or a huge increase in dividends. So that particular date has been designated as the day 0, and the data collected, return collected on the -30 to +30 of that particular date. Now the return has been calculated, and the benchmark return has also been calculated. The difference of them is the extra return, and then cumulative of extra return has been considered. These are the sample forms of the semi-strong form. These are all 30, Sensex 30, all the 30 shares are there. This is their industry. These are the dates of announcement, which is the day 0. And this is the events. These are the events. Test of the semi-strong efficiency. It's the same test like the earlier one, only in this case, we have to consider whether on a particular day there is a volume chart or a substantial increase in volume. Substantial increase in volume, which indicates there is a scope of insider trading. So I have selected all these 30 stocks included in the Sensex, and the dates have been taken, and these are the transactions. These are all Y transactions. Now, finding an analysis by the regression analysis and the null hypothesis, here we got the coefficients of the three variables, independent variables in the Whitbread-Kaiser model, and in all cases, the A value is greater than the critical value of at 5% level of significance, and we reject the null hypothesis in all the cases. We have done for 2000 to 2015, and then we regress the data for 2000 to 2009, 10 years, every 10 years span. Now, finding is that we have rejected all. We have rejected the hypothesis in all the cases, and the overall significance is very low because the R square is coming as very low. Rejecting null hypothesis means there is a possibility of relationship, but the relationship is very weak. Result of CAPM test, the R values have been calculated. Then they have been tabulated also. Only 2002 and 2003 and 2006 and 2007, the R value is coming closer to 1. Otherwise, and also the trend line is showing a downward. So the finding is that the fails to show a positive relationship between in all the cases, in most of the cases, and the trend line is also going downward. Now, result of the customer's valuation model, I have regressed the data, and the R square is also again very low, and the three variables have been selected by the by the SPSS is the age, date equity, and beta. They are giving the best result, but again with a very low R square value. So what we can say from here is that if I go for a low PE value stock, I have to go on older age. That is because of this minus sign, high debt equity ratio, and a low value, low beta value. That is low risk. Testing of customized value. I have tested this model also with these coefficients, and the 16 stocks have been selected for 16 years in different industries, and the actual PE value and the calculated PE value has been considered, and the variation is also considered. Now, the variation is very wide. It is coming from minus 39 to plus 95%. Even a tolerance of 10% is giving a probability of given correct data is 3 by 16, and the low possibility of coupled with a very low R square value, which signifies that the model is not valid, is not working. Now, time pattern, going to the efficiency test, I first taken the 96 to 2015, and monthly average return has been calculated of both NSE and BSE, and that their correlation coefficient is coming as 0.89. So here we can find that this is a clear picture that I will buy in March and sell will somewhere in June, July, or September, October. And the analysis of 91 to 2015 is giving a better picture. With some that lowest return has been we got is in March, and the highest return in November. This March can be attributed to a fact of the coming of the year ending, and the November is the opening of the stock market. Somewhat. So from here we can conclude that we can clearly take the advantage of the past records. So definitely, when anyone want to invest in stock market, he will try to invest in March and sell it in November. Regression analysis. In the 6 days, 20 years, I've taken the 20 years BSE Sensex return, and the prior 3 years return has been calculated. And now the regression done. Now again here we see that there are coefficients is coming. The F value is less than the critical value of at 5% level of significance, and we accept the null hypothesis and say that there is no correlation. But again, the R square is coming very low. The validity of the model does not stand. Now, analysis is the result of the last test, and now I'm going to the test of semi-strong form. Semi-strong form, I have calculated the cumulative abnormal return of 30 stocks and then taken the average of them. And here we can see that it was supposed to move in a right up direction. That is, instantaneous changing was expected. But in this case, we got that the price is moving, the car is moving prior to the day zero. So this signifies that there is enough insider trading is going. The information is already out. So on the minus 20th day, the car has started moving up. Result of the strong form market, it is a similar kind of thing. It's also showing it's not instantaneous, not spontaneous. It has gone up minus 20 days from there, and it says that even if we consider a volume chart on a particular day, insider trading, that the stock market, the price of the particular stock, went high prior to the announcement or prior to the day of purchasing that bulk stock. So these are the findings and conclusion. This Indian stock market is failed to, all the three forms have failed, and the Whitbeck-Kaiser model did not work. The CAPM test did not give a good result, and so the valuation model. Research contribution is that in this case we can give a new direction that whether this valuation and efficiency can be clubbed together. These are considered as independent and mutually exclusive earlier days. If we can consider both together, it can give a light to the darker area why the valuation models is not working in such developing market. What are the steps that can be taken in such a case? There are some steps that can be taken, that is more sophisticated computer system which can instantaneously change the new information is instantaneously reflected in the price. Absence of speculation and decision guided by the emotions, and the information is going to the public. There are many experts, there are many non-experts. They are treating the information in a different way. So there can be such kind of differential results. And we have to channelize the deposit of the small investors who are the non-experts through the institutional investors so that the market perform in a good manner. And obviously the role of ICFAI should be checked, because they are coming with a hot money and suddenly they pull out and then the market crashes. Limitations, I have tried to elaborate my area, the base of the research. However, I have calculated only, I've gone through only few tests that I could make. And the Whitbeck-Kaiser model, the actual model was based on the projected growth rate, where I have taken the historical growth rate. The existing capping theory, which is calculated on a daily basis, beta, I'm calculated on a daily basis. And stock valuation model, the qualitative factors have not been considered. Scope for, there is ample scope for the future research, because I have given a new idea of clubbing these two independent and exclusive earlier, which were considered earlier, the valuation and the efficiency. Now this gives a huge scope for the future research areas. Publication, I have published 3 papers. So two of them are in the cost accounting journals, and the third one is with IUJ. The fourth one is coming in the Finance India magazine in this month only. And presentation of papers, I have presented 2 papers in Lobsang Business School and IUJ, and both the papers were awarded as a best paper award.
Sorry.
So he's on time, sir. Completed within half an hour. So
No, it's okay. Thank you.
Dr. Rajkumar.
अरे आप पूछिए.
Actually, thanks, Mr. Mazumder. You have given a very comprehensive and very exhaustive presentation pertaining to your research work. You have framed it, come on the objective slide.
Objective. It comes later.
Next. Yeah. You're going to six objective. On every objective there would be a thesis. It's a very, very exhaustive, I can tell you. So while you are going to for it further, I mean, say any academic activities, then you must confine on a very specific one. If you are taking, the research is done taking into consideration only one objective is enough. Then you go in very depth. Only when you can reasonably means suggest anything what is going on. So that you have to take into consideration for your further use of this research. Yes. How many these companies you have selected? 70, I think. Out of 100. So what was the parameter of selection?
No, you go to the private system and take the data. I will give you the outstanding stocks which were consistent during this period.
No, but there will be some tools by for the selection of these 70 on some parameters.
In the private system, if I select say 2002 to 2010, then it will give the data of the companies who were consistent within the index, who were in the index during this period.
Because
index is always
checking. 70. So 70 is enough, 70 is enough for the projection of anything, for the generalization of the.
After all, 70 is coming out from an index. An index is a
very
sample of the
very well taken. Okay. Then you have used the statistical tools mainly.
Statistics and R-square.
So let me know. Have you taken some observation, some interview of the different stakeholders, or only on the basis of the secondary data and on the basis
mainly on the secondary data. Only for framing the customer evaluation model, I have contacted some mutual fund companies, and their opinion has been collected, and based on their opinion.
No, you have taken the opinion of the different peoples. Yes. I mean, yes. You have taken. What were their designation or their means profile? You have taken the opinion or the.
No, it's their mutual funds view. It's not individual person's view, but mutual funds view. I've contacted the officials of the mutual funds on my personal relationship. They have given me the feedback.
So now, after completion of this task, do you feel that there should be some more? I mean, the collection of the data and means observation and interview that was needed. That maybe more validated.
This research has given immense satisfaction, and I will pursue this in the next also. So this is a very interesting subject I got, and we definitely pursue this, and if I can get some more ideas from this.
Acha, could you tell me two or three things that really means from your point of view is very peculiar that you that means searched out of your research work. Two or three things, because many things are you will find in the different papers supported by your means available literature and all those things. But the when you are going for the some basic such type of research, then certainly something will come up that would be very unique type of, about which there would be no literature, there would be no available things, and that will be very means creating curiosity even.
First one, I would say that the taste a weak form of efficiency. The monthly average has given me a new kind of thing, that is that I can select my months as an investor. I can select say March for buying and November for selling. It's a new idea. Secondly, many information is coming suddenly in the market. That is, suppose tomorrow ITC will issue bonus share, and nobody knows today. But when I analyze the data, I found out that the information has already been reflected in the price 20 days back. So it clearly signifies that there is some kind of insider trading is going on.
Okay, fine.
Number three is, I will again tell the strong form taste, and most astonishingly, I found out that no model worked in Indian context. That is quite astonishing, because many steps have been taken after liberalization for the improvement of the stock market and also Indian economy. But what has actually happened? Actually happened is that no model is working, as well as the efficiency tests are also giving negative results. So that is the most important thing that I have learned from this research.
That's really, really, really. Actually, you have identified two very important things. One is the when you are talking about the market movement, the month of March and month of November. So how you visualize the means movement? What are the factors?
March can be attributed to the close year close.
That is one. No. What I want to know, these are the very general things what you are telling. As a researcher, what is the new when you tell the March is a very the prices are very low, and in the November are very high. When you are talking about the fundamentals, about the
fundamentals can happen that the yearly result will come. So nobody knows what will happen.
No, again it is very common. As a researcher, means you might, when you have taken the interview and the observation, then you might have observed something very unique, very new, that I want to know. The closure and the say means the disclosure of the result, all those things are there. That are very usually.
The fundamental is different. Presently,
what about November again?
November is the closing of the year in India. Many factors operates in the market. In number of factors.
Right.
So we don't know when it will go down and when it will go up. Even the political results impact the market. So in a market like India, it is very difficult to.
Your study is based on the secondary data. So could you tell me two main problems that you have faced during the research work? Two main problems.
Huge amount of data that I have collected. Dealing with, and many outliers were there.
No, huge data, because you are talking about the means this analysis of all these models. So certainly you need the huge data.
Yeah.
Until you are having the huge data, you cannot analyze this model to the maximum accuracy.
Yeah.
So that is what you are telling.
No, I'm telling just this data we're collecting and then interpreting. So, is there I mean, first of all, the genuineness of the data.
Yeah. Correct.
Genuineness of the data is very much important.
Yeah, that is very important.
From where I'm collecting the
Yeah. Second,
second is that dealing with some such huge data sometimes gives an inaccuracy. So we have to be careful about that also.
third one.
I'm just putting the data in the SPSS, and SPSS is giving out something, and it may not be acceptable.
Right. So many times it would now support your
Yes.
literature and hypothesis of these things.
So this can happen in the reverse action also.
On the basis of your this research, could you suggest me the 3 topics? Those are very, very, very important, and that will really be very worthwhile for the domain. Could you frame the 3 topics for the research scholars?
The first one is that the valuation models, which are very popular and supposed to work in India, did not work.
Okay, valuation number 1.
Yeah. Second is the efficiency model. All 3 forms failed in India in the post-liberalization period. And third is that earlier it was not interrelated to each other. I mean, valuation and efficiency were considered to be mutually exclusive and independent. So if I can combine these 2, we can probably get an answer for the dichotomy.
Right. That will be very, very good work. Okay. What do you do after this research work? What is your next planning regarding this work, research work?
I will definitely this learning to my next level of research.
Try to take out some good research paper. That should be the first.
Yes.
First, your strategy. Take out the good research papers. How many research papers you produced?
It's around.
Out of this research work during this.
I have published 3, and the 4th one is coming in Finance India this month.
Okay.
It has been accepted but not yet published.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Mazumder, should I ask you a question now?
Yes, sir.
Who has developed this EMH? Any idea who has developed this EMH? Huh?
Using Pharma.
Pharma.
What
was the precursor of EMH? Precursor of EMH.
It is.
You understood the question? Precursor of EMH. How EMH actually arose in the literature.
From the random theory. From the random theory.
So slightly louder, my dear.
It's based on random theory.
Random theory?
Yes.
Or random walk hypothesis?
I learned it from the literature. Random theory by Barcilia in 1900.
Who was he?
Barcilia.
Who was he?
He was I think a
French mathematician.
Yes.
So I brought it to your area. A French mathematician developed a concept way back in 1900.
Yes, sir. I mentioned that in my
research. You said Pharma developed this EMH. Any idea about the year in which he has developed? Year?
1970, I think.
1970. So this is the first, I say, theory that has evolved from empiricism. I mean, generally, theory of development is deductive logic. This was developed through the process of inductive logic. That is, you have got lot of research findings over the world about the about the applicability of random walk hypothesis to stock market prices. And the person who is sitting before you was the first person who did it in 76, 77.
He had quoted in the reference also.
Yes,
I tested random walk hypothesis way back in 76, 77. Okay. Any idea about who tested the CAPM in India for the first time? CAPM. No, I didn't do any work in CAPM. Because I wanted to bring this concept that you are now trying to say, find out the impact of efficiency on valuation. The entire controversy started with this. The controversy in the finance literature started with whether it is possible to predict the stock market prices on any basis, either with the help of its past prices and so on and so forth. So Palmer developed this, and has he got Nobel Prize for this? Palmer has got Nobel Prize for this work only.
2014.
2 years ago, I think 2 years ago, Palmer was the person who got Nobel Prize. Maybe 3 years ago. Okay. CAPM, now you are saying, Jayant Verma from IIM Ahmedabad was the first, if I recall correctly, it tested this applicability of CAPM in Indian context. Who developed CAPM?
Sharp.
I mean, the market.
William Sharp.
William Sharp.
Yes.
No, there are many others who have contributed to this. William Sharp was, of course, credited with the development of. Did he get Nobel Prize for this?
Yes, I think. Yes, I think, yes.
So, I say your subject is so important. You are a mathematician, so I brought it to 1900. Way back to 1900, Louis Bachelier was the French mathematician who developed the concept of randomness of stock market prices. The model remained dormant because it was written in French. So the Anglo-Saxon world didn't know what he has written. It was only in late 50s, 55, 56. Again, a statistician, Jules Kendall, was the person who really found out that this model is already developed because he was a statistician. So he got really interested in this model and he wrote a paper in 58. That 58 paper of Kendall and another person by the name of, again, a physicist. So, see the literature in finance. Finance professor, either mathematician or physicist. Brown motion theory. Brown motion is a word.
Yes, yes.
So Brown and motion, he wrote a paper of Brown and motion in 58 again. These two papers simultaneously occurred in 58. Osborne was the name, if I now recall. Osborne was the person. Osborne and Kendall. They wrote independently, and then, random walk has been tested throughout the world. Palmer found that how come that stock price changes are independent, random over time. Then developed this EMH. EMH actually is the cornerstone of the development of the entire finance theory. Finance theory जो develop हुआ है, it was the EMH. The concept of EMH has become so popular in finance literature that rest of the theory in finance, whether you talk about the derivatives or Black and Scholes and all those, roughly 10 to 15 people have got Nobel Prize in economics for their contribution to finance. Merton Miller, have you heard? Merton Miller?
Miller, yeah.
Merton Miller, and then Merton, who developed the Black and Scholes model. Black and Scholes. Black developed, but he died. Merton actually then refined the option theory, and he got the Nobel Prize in economics. So my question again, last, find the impact of efficiency on valuation. what have you found? What is the impact of EMH on valuation models? Because valuation model is not one. White Kishore and so on, so everybody has developed valuation models. I mean, there are innumerous valuation models. How this controversy actually arose in the literature, if you have read the finance literature, please understand. You have understood the concept of security analysis. Who contributed to security analysis? Graham and Dodd book.
Yeah, Graham Dodd.
So Graham and Dodd, that book was first published in 1934. Last was in 1952. That dominated really the entire security industry. Anna? Controversy actually in the literature started with this. Whether it is possible for you to make extra money that is beyond a risk. Because you have really done so much work in one thesis, and I don't know, you could have justified really. You could have concentrated only test. You are saying 3 forms of EMH. What is the second form of EMH you have stated? Bonus or right?
Bonus and dividend and stock split.
What? Huh?
Bonus, dividend, dividend is
bonus?
Bonus.
Bonus share. How many years? Because when you are examining, you know, this is efficiency has got only 2 characters here. One is the information, and then the adjustment of this information to the stock price. So the speed of adjustment of that is actually the second type. And how have you done the third form of EMH?
Well, I've taken there is a volume in substantial increase in the volume.
Please understand, it is not possible to test efficient market hypothesis directly. If you have read the literature, it has been very well established. EMH you cannot test directly. It is only indirectly that we can draw inference about the efficiency of a stock market. So if you are testing the EMH at 3rd level, then you have to examine whether the security analysts are generating returns more than what they should really. That is testing, for instance, indirectly mutual funds.
Extra return.
I mean, if mutual funds are supposed to be managed by experts, are they really generating superior returns than the relative to risk? So that was the issue. So in fact, we have tried so many things in one thesis, and I was perplexed really to read. You are testing CIPM, you are testing 3 levels of efficiency. I have tested only 1 level of efficiency way back in 72. The 2nd or 3rd level of efficiency was not available. I mean, even testing possible ही नहीं था. कहाँ था data? कहाँ था computer? Because after the data, after the computer, then the methodology developed and so on and so forth. Anyway, it's a good work, but I must say you were over-enthusiastic in one thesis. Very, very over-enthusiastic. You wanted to do in one thesis so many things. Because if somebody says you have tested CAPM, you have tested 3 levels of efficiency in one thesis, and you have developed a model for customized model. This customized model means valuation model. So what do you find? You have developed some model. What do you find of that? Is it able to predict? It is able to generate superior returns? So what is the conclusion then you draw?
Then I went to the efficiency.
Sorry. conclusion you are going to draw is if I am not able to generate extra return, I mean superior, supernormal return than the market, then EMH holds. What EMH says? Please, you are saying EMH is not, we have discarded the EMH in the Indian market now, because you have shown that superior, I mean this second test, I mean the testing for the bonus, etc., that
Semi-strong
extra, semi-strong, yes. You have said no, it's not a, because you are able to generate 2 days more return, abnormal returns are 2 more days or 3 more days. Anyway, I'm not going to bother you much on this. Question is, you have read, done so much work. Why were you so enthusiastic to do so many work in one thesis? Because you have to do justice to one aspect only. Jayant Verma, I don't know whether you know him, he was a member of the Security Exchange Board of India, full-time member, appointed, remained member for several times, and his contribution to the development of the, what you call this, derivative. Because he was the person who had designed all this, what you call the, what should be charged and so on and so forth. Because he remained there for 3-4 years, full-time member of the Stock Exchange Board of India, SEBI. Okay? He was the person who done, then another student, I got it. My student did PhD in 95-96, testing the applicability of CAPM in the context. What I am saying is, CAPM, if you really read, just Google, thousands and thousands of PhDs you will find out on CAPM. EMH, कमरा भर जाएगा इतना काम हुआ हुआ इमेज पे. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring home to you. You have done so much work, but very enthusiastic. You can't do justice to research because you have to go into the depth of a small topic and then do it. So, I was very enthusiastic when I saw this title. I said immediately I will accept it because this is my first love in research. Because I was credited that yes, in India, O.P. Gupta was the person who has tested the applicability of random walk hypothesis in the Indian stock market. Another person who did his work simultaneously with me was sitting in the US for Sharma, J.L. Sarma, not Sharma. He must be from South. Sarma, S-A-R-M, who was doing in Chicago or somewhere else. Okay. So why question is? Because when we say PhD, which means we have to really go into the depth of the whole genesis of EMH. Because EMH has revolutionized the thinking in finance. The entire finance theory is built around it. Every person assumes EMH. EMH, yes, markets are efficient. What is the definition of EMH now? What is the market efficiency you have understood? Because you have not understood the concept of efficiency.
How fast the information
please tell me, Pharma's definition and interpret the Pharma's definition and then paraphrase it.
How fast the information is getting into the prices?
No. How EMH has been defined by Pharma. Yes, only one line he has given. One line definition he has given. A market is said to be efficient. Complete the sentence now. If it reflects all available information into the prices. So reflect, which means all available information. What is information, my dear? I'm asking you this question. Information is a giant word. Am I right? So then he has classified in three. I mean, in order to make the hypothesis testable, he has developed further argument. Am I right? So a market is said to be efficient if it reflects all available information into the prices. Then corollary of that, lot of corollary to that effect. Okay? If the market is efficient, then you will get the reward commensurate with your risk. Am I right? So you cannot get more than the risk that you bear. The risk relationships are this entire concept of CAPM actually. Because the definition of risk, because in his premise, beta becomes the measure of risk, not the total standard deviation. Standard deviation, I mean, the total riskiness is not compensated by the market.
Only systematic.
He says only the systematic, because some risk you can diversify, therefore the diversifiable risk cannot be compensated by the market. That is logical. If you can transfer this risk to him, why should I compensate? Am I right? So, बहुत अच्छा काम किया है, बहुत आप मुझे ऐसा लगा बहुत जल्दी में है. So many things you wanted to do, so many things. Depth, my submission will be go into the depth, because that depth really will enhance your understanding. CAPM का वो definition जो है ना, जैसे पोएट्री हम पढ़ाते हैं ऐसे पढ़ाते हैं. पोएट्री पढ़ाते हैं ना, उसपे एक लफ्ज का मीनिंग, रिफ्लेक्ट का मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of reflect? Have you ever thought of it? He says, this is the word he has used. And then he has used another word. If it reflects instantaneously, then he has substituted that word instantaneously. Because instantaneously it may not be possible. So I always say stock market never sleeps. How do you interpret this? Stock market never sleeps. Do you agree with this statement?
Yes.
बताइए. No.
Because the information is.
Now you tell me. I say stock market work for 5 days. I mean 5 hours or 3 hours. But I say stock market never sleeps. And I will give the
stock
answer.
market has been sleeping for 10 years.
Huh?
10 years it has been sleeping. Indian stock market has been sleeping for 10 years. If you have a stock, because I invest, there are stocks who could not progress even 1%.
तो बताइए आप stock market never sleeps. How do you interpret this? Stock market never sleeps.
The information is coming every time. Information is coming every time. Information.
Oh, information तो flow कर रही है, but market is not. Market तो सो रही है. I mean, market participants are sleeping. Am I right? I give you the example.
Very interesting.
This
Professor Gupta has
what you call World Trade Center was bombarded 2001 or 2?
2001.
1. If I recall correctly, it was 1. 9/11. 9/11, 2001. It was bombarded. What was the time here? From 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yes. I got it.
So my son, he was seeing the television. I was not seeing. He came to me running. बम्बार्ड मैंने भी खोला था टीवी. मैंने देखा ये तो, अरे मैंने कहा ये तो अटैक हुआ है भाई, ये टकराया नहीं है ऐसे जहाज, ये तो अटैक हुआ है. बिकॉज द सेकंड जब प्लेन उसको अटैक किया,
Not an accident.
market is not an accident. It is a planned attack. मैंने कहा, you will see the market tomorrow. Market, world over market will crash tomorrow. I predicted. I told him. He said, मैंने कहा मार्केट का इम्पैक्ट देखना है. कल मार्केट इंडिया का 20% डाउन जाएगा. तो मार्केट अगर स्लीप होता तो उस न्यूज के आने के, क्योंकि मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट सोते नहीं है, जग रहे हैं. मान लीजिए नहीं भी जग रहे हैं, वो जो न्यूज आई है कल सुबह, तो उसका इम्पैक्ट तो मार्केट एग्जामिन करेगी ना. मैंने कहा इसे व्हाट हैज हैपेंड, अनसर्टेनिटी इन द एंटायर वर्ल्ड हैज बीन क्रिएटेड ड्यू टू दैट अटैक. तो मार्केट क्रैश हो गई. जब यहाँ इंडिया का मार्केट खुला, मेरे ख्याल 20-25% डाउन था. सो स्टॉक मार्केट नेवर स्लीप्स. उससे मैंने ये सिंपल जुमला अपने आप ही क्वाइन किया. मैंने कहा लेट मी क्वाइन दिस फ्रेज, स्टॉक मार्केट नेवर स्लीप्स. And I give you another statistical evidence to this. Closing price and opening price of a stock, do you find same? No relation. Opening price and closing price, they are not the same. Okay. चाय पी रहे हैं.
चाय तो कहेंगे, but before that, if you say that your evaluation, आपका evaluation concluded. So now that the evaluators, both external evaluators, concluded anything from others.
That's a small question.
Sir, once evaluations are over, sir.
You need not be believe, sir. For my interest.
Evaluations are over thereafter, sir.
No, okay. Evaluation
Evaluation
declared to be over. Now any other questions are fine. Yeah, now I think anybody else also ask.
You are very candidly admitted that all the three models have continued. I think let me give a classical example. In 1992, there was the article by Fernandez, one of the greatest man in analysis in economic finance. He recommended a share enterprise I purchased it. He said it will go to 15 times it. Just what I'm trying to convey to all of you or your research person. This market efficiency market hypothesis in Indian culture will never see. We are dishonest people. All information we never give. Why this has come? Because the industry never gives full information. In Europe and America, if you hide it, you will get there's no procedure. So this will not work. Two. What could be, just think over it. What could be in the interest of investors in the industry so that we investors think. And last, trustworthiness of the company is very important for us. Trustworthiness, like Reliance, like Tata. What is this? आँख बंद करके आप लोग इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. कुछ पॉइंट की जरूरत है. The trustworthiness of the company that reflects. इन्होंने कहा reflect के बारे में. I think the reflection was that there are many issues that should be reflected, not by writing, but total integrity of the company also should be. Thank you. You did a good job.
Any other questions, observations? Shweta ji?
I think Sourav, we are very courageous on taking two models, very well-established model. Once again, three discussion.
We have given three models.
Anybody else? So it's a good work done. Sort of possibly like in fact that the evaluators for mentioning. Instead of getting into very broad conclusions, if we got some more specific conclusions, that would have been a lot more precise. Say that O.P. Gupta ji, sort of my thought process on that is, one is saying that stock market in aggregate. One is saying that the overall stock market is inefficient. That is one way of saying. But stock market, it's not one. Stock market also consists of sectors.
Segments. Okay.
Sectors, I'm saying, not segments.
Oh.
Sectors, industries, I'm saying.
Okay.
Over a period of time, if you notice, when you are talking of the asymmetry of information, asymmetry of information is not, no, listen to me. Asymmetry of information is not, same or uniform across the sectors.
Okay, you can have.
No. See what I am
You
saying.
can split up the study.
No, just listen to me. Not splitting up the study. See, for instance, there are, if you take commodity stocks that are there, which are very traditional managed, their asymmetry of information is very high. We don't know what is happening. Whereas if you take the multinationals that are there, you take, let's say, Infosys that is there, or the IT companies that are there, by virtue of the fact that they are listed into the International Stock Exchange, the corporate governance norms are stricter. Because of that, Infosys, what is happening, qualitative, quantitative, everything is available. There, the asymmetry is less. There, if you test it, will it be the same thing when compared to the
Probably no. Probably no.
I think that is what exactly I was talking about. I think it's so. Somewhere I think, I explained to you yesterday also. See, this is something that if you take an overall elephant, you can say elephant is like that. Maybe you say that, what you call watermelon is big. That watermelon, if you cut it down, then we find that, maybe as far as the IT sector stocks are concerned, they will be relatively more efficient. A commodity stocks are relatively less efficient. This kind of because that is a more specific conclusion rather than simply saying India is bad, Indian politicians are the. See, it's not that all Indian politicians are corrupt. It's not that the entire India is bad. So somewhere you need to come with, as a researcher, come with something more specific. And then say that, take a benchmark and say IT sector is more efficient. If such is the case, how to make the other sectors as efficient? Or the telecom sector is more efficient. I think that's something, that kind of thing has to come, rather than simply looking at all the 70 stocks with one paintbrush. The 70, if you can divide into the sectors and make an analysis, the 70 you will have at least about 8 or 10 sectors that are there. That will give more analysis. So that's a thought, I think.
Very good. Congratulations, sir. Really.
So, anyway, thank you very much.
Congratulations, Somali.
Signature করে আপনার একটা কার্ড দিয়ে দিন।
Sure. I think you are jam-packed.
Dr. Rajkumar has
Please ask Amar to come. Amar just has to come.
They should think of what is happening there.
See, like in fact, he said, our Dr. O.P. Gupta said stock markets don't sleep. Similarly, I said, IUD also cannot be sleeping like that, isn't it?
Sir,
During daytime you can't sleep.
That is also a tech.
Dr. Saab said 10 years sleeping. They are
City doesn't sleep. That's why he said that. There is a Citibank branch across the globe. Somewhere or the other.
Some stocks have died and collapsed, liquidated. It's not sleeping, they died. Premature death.
Sir, he's coming.
His trains and flights will not come back. How much? Thank you very much. So nice of you. And the phone number Amarji, you want to active
Get me a bag. Get me a bag.
Thank you very much, sir. He is listening to that because do this thing also instead of giving it to separate. So,
सर इनको डॉक्टर साहब सी ऑफ कर लेते तब तक नहीं हो रहा है सर।
thank you. धन्यवाद सर।
धन्यवाद सर, मुलाकात होता है।
आपका ये विश्व को होते हैं
हम निकल रहे हैं सर।
जी सर प्लीज कम अगेन सर।
निकलने में मुलाकात होगी सर, आपको सुनने में कुल मिला जो है।
अरे
थैंक यू।
I'm coming.
Just wait, sir. मुश्किल सवाल है।
कंप्यूटर में तो है, मेरे को याद नहीं है, कोई भी अकाउंट नंबर नहीं याद होगा।
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा काम किया।
सर, एक मिनट आएंगे, एक ग्रुप फोटोग्राफ के लिए बाहर थोड़ा सा
आ रहा हूँ भैया। तो पैसे देने के मामले में
हाँ ना सर,
इतने सवाल पूछेगा तो मुश्किल रह जाएगा।
अरे आप चलिए, आप तो चलिए।
अभी भरता हूँ यार।
हाँ सर, ठीक है सर।
ऐसा है कि मैं
चाय तो पीजिए ना, कितने उठा भारी ठीक बोल भारी दुनिया में तो नहीं दवाई कुछ और मैं कि कहने हम दादी तौर पे बन गए मेरे साथ